Groovers, this is a little different. We're here to let you guys know, a little disclaimer.
Yes.
That in the first moments of this interview,
The first 20 moments.
yes, the first 20-minute moments, we are not recording on us, so that's totally on us. We apologize, but we're here to fix it up. And then, yeah, please enjoy this interview. We really appreciate you guys for tapping in.
Yeah, he fucking did it perfectly. Huh?
We're over here tapping in with KWJT, Puget Sound from space. I'm over here with Corey. You're tapping in with Tavares and sliding with Solana. You already know KWJT. Here we are, back at it again, man, with another motherfucking Groovy Tapes podcast. You feel me? Yeah, I'm coming at you guys live and direct because, you know, we're back at it again, man. Podcasting, we're in the motherfucking groove of things. Don't mean to yell. You know, welcome to the show, you guys. I like to start the show off with two things, you guys. A whole lot of love for the past groovers. We appreciate you guys so much, man. You guys have been, like, really rocking for us. We can't push out this content without you guys because, you know, if we are, we're talking to nobody. We're talking to ghosts. So shout out to the past groovers. Second shout out, if you're a new groover and you're tapping in with this episode, you clicked it because you seen your friend. We love you. Thank you. Welcome to the family. And without a further ado, you guys, good morning. And please welcome to the show. We got Perry on the motherfucking building.
Yeah. Hey, baby.
Welcome.
Let that ring a little
Thank y'all
bit.
for having me. This is great.
Of course. This was Mando. One, I want to, in the opening, Umi was like the one, outside of me already being a fan and being on your radar, Umi was the one that was like, I need it. And whenever Umi goes like, he requests an episode, I have to do my due diligence and go get it. And you were definitely one of those ones where he was like,
real, man.
Hell yeah.
He has been in my corner for a long time.
Really?
I appreciate that.
That's amazing. So I have a bunch of questions, so I'll probably like jump around. But I kind of want to just open with like, what was that kind of introduction to ETC? Because like for me, you are one of those people who fly that flag and like really rep the brand and like show face in all sort of situations as far as like wearing the clothing as you perform and doing it like for cover arts and things like that. So like, where did that love and appreciation come from?
Well, they're all around the same age. So like when I started doing music at like the tail end of high school and college and stuff, I would just always go into Tacoma because I'm from Spanaway. And I would just always kind of see them at certain stuff, be on the radar, and I would just always just fuck with the vibe. Yeah. It was just something I always thought was just really forward thinking, all this stuff like that. And like I always just admired it, but I'm not the kind of dude that's like a opportunist, kind of like do stuff for me. So I always just show love, you know, just always do stuff. And I was like, I want to work with them one day, but I wait on it. So a few years, and me and we got tight, and he was just like, why haven't we done some shit yet? And I was like, this is it. I already got some ideas, man. So then it just really built from there. I started doing my first like art shows there too. So he was just really there for it.
Oh, that's fire. That's really amazing. I feel like Umi is definitely a person that's like, once he knows someone else has that itch in themselves, he's going to go like foster and really push them into those positions.
And that was cool too, bro, because it wasn't like he was like giving me these opportunities. He was like, this is what I can do for you. You just have to knock out the park yourself. You know what I'm saying? So like that was tight.
That's fucking fire.
Hold on real quick.
Yep.
I just wanted to give a little hand clap for Umi.
Yeah.
You know, Umi always taps in every episode. Come on. The groovers at home knows. We always name drop. Umi's been on the show, but just so much love for that person. You know, we were out in Tacoma this past weekend, and man, seeing Big Brother is always nice, and just being around the family, and we kind of got ushered into the Tacoma dynamic, and man, how do we get so lucky? We got blessed in for real, because it's just I was screaming on the way to Tacoma, like, Tacoma, this is my second home, gang. Like, we out here.
I love it, bro. Tacoma, that's home, man.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
So I've never spent any time in Spanaway. So what was Spanaway like for you?
Man, it's country as fuck. Hella cows and horses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of military too. Like most of all my friends, even how we ended up there was military. But yeah, it's like the middle of nowhere. Growing up as a kid, we had to walk like 45 minutes to catch the one to get to Tacoma or even like the Puyallup and shit. Like it was just nothing out there. Meth heads, hella meth heads. But there was just a lot of time for me to just be outside, be creative. Mm-hmm. I mean, so it was cool though.
Is that kind of where you're? I guess what started first for you? Did you gravitate to art first or music first?
I would say art. It's kind of like both at the same time, really, because like I was really into art as a kid, always drawing stuff like Pokemon and all that type of shit. Yeah. But then my dad bought me a drum set when I was like 7. Just because I was just always, just doing hella shit.
Did your mom hate it? Or just...
Oh, yeah, they hated it for a while. So I got to the point where I was like, no, you got to actually learn. You know what I mean? So then I went to school, learned for all that stuff.
Oh, fire.
Like 7th, 5th grade, something like that. So.
Oh, that's fire.
And yeah, then just kind of really went from there, man. And then like high school, I was like, all right, I'm going to be a rapper for real. I didn't really like take art serious then because I never knew an artist. I didn't know nothing about art like that. And then just through time, like, I would just need someone to do album art, so I'd just do it myself. And then, like, be at studio sessions, I'd be sketching, or do like a tattoo idea for somebody. Yeah. And it just picked up from there.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, hell yeah. It's really self-taught. Yeah. That's so fire. Hell yeah. Who's the first artist that you, like latched onto as, like, this is a lane that I could, like, foster in and really do well in?
Visually or music-wise?
I'll take both.
Musically, definitely Outkast. Outkast.
I can see that.
Like that shit was like, yeah, this is the coolest shit I ever heard.
Yeah.
And then with art, it was like Instagram stuff because then I was just kind of just sketch or whatever. And there was this white chick who did watercolor. And it's like Agnes Cecile. She's like some European chick. And it was like just like really, really tight. I just fell in love with it. And at that point, I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to just buy watercolor. I'm going to just see what happens. And then just from that moment, that was like in 2013. Yeah. And then from that moment, it just started just learning about art, picking up shit from there.
Damn, a decade in.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's been cool.
I've been really curious about like watercolor itself as like a medium. I know it's like it's tricky to work with just because of the water material and the paper. How does it like... What's the most frustrated you've been, like, making a piece?
Oh, man. There's kind of frustration almost every time a little bit. This is like the way that I do watercolor, too, I don't use any of the sketches and all that stuff. It's just straight away. Because I want to, like, that's kind of like my flex within the art world.
No, that's fire.
But, like, it's still challenging because, it's just water. You got to kind of play with it and all that stuff. Yeah. Just kind of learning those things. But, yeah. So that's just the hard part is sometimes they don't dry the way you want. You gotta live with certain things. Sometimes you're doing like a darker color and it spills over and it's like, fuck, that black was not supposed to be with that yellow. Now this whole thing's kind of, I got finesse it, you know what I mean?
Gotta add some color over here to make it different.
Now you gotta make an adjustment.
Yep. That. And then just like, man, I didn't know shit about art.
Yeah.
If I grew up and stuff. I knew a bunch about music and all that, but like I didn't know about contemporary art, even being an artist.
Yeah.
Just straight through Instagram. So like that was another frustrating thing is just figuring out the art world. Because man, like it's still white as fuck out there.
Yeah, and they're very like you gotta learn the language before you can really move around.
Yeah. And that's what I definitely have to learn. That was like the most frustrating thing is not knowing the language at all.
What type of artist are you in that, like, if you were being technical about, like, the box?
It would be contemporary watercolors. I do portraits, surrealism kind of stuff like that.
So. Yeah, that's fine. Oftentimes, like, I feel like I get overly excited when I get, like, someone who is a artist as well as a musician or just, like, works in two medium just because, like, I feel like you as an artist kind of is definitely not linear, but it's so expansive as far as like what you can be inspired by as far as making physical painting art or what you're gonna do on audio and musician wise.
That helps, bro.
Yeah,
I can take breaks and it's great.
Does it help your brain just like get to those? What's the best bar that you've come up with while painting?
Oh man, that's hard. Because honestly, most of my music is I'm either making it at the studio, like in real time with the producer, or if just thinking in my head, it's painting. So man, that's really hard. Damn.
No, we can come back to it. Yeah, because that's not even something I had written down. I was just like, I know, because even like when I used to draw heavy, my brain would. That's how a lot of these things started. My brain would just wander of like podcast ideas and just like those kind of ideas. So I know like drawing, because I'm not a great drawer, so it definitely allows me to think a lot more. But I know it definitely helps me just put those things in order in my brain, and just like, even if I'm painting something so random as like eyes and things of that nature, it definitely helps me just like lighting and camera shit is this how my brains work. So I was just curious if that, as far as the bars, what's it like teaching?
Oh, bro, it's cool. I've put myself in a position where I mostly teach like troubled youth and stuff like that. So for me, it's a little easier because I can just talk to them kind of normal, not worry about stuff like that. And like we come from more of the same world.
Yeah.
And it's just really dope because for myself too, growing up, I never knew any painter or any artist like that. So I never even knew it was a thought. You know what I mean? Like, but I always knew people who drew. You know what I mean? All the time we're drawing all this type of shit.
Yeah.
So when I got to teach kids, it was like, oh, damn, I got to see an adult who actually is doing this. Like, he's on the type of time we be on. Like, dope, all right, I can maybe get some shit together. Because, like, I've had kids that, you know, they sell drugs, do shit like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, shit, I can sell T-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, you sell prints. I could do this and that. And, like, still have the same mentality. You know, you're trying to get to the money. You
exactly.
got shit going on. Like,
but
so
you
helping
figure
change
it out.
that perspective.
That's so fire.
Part,
Yeah.
bro.
I'm gonna give you a well-deserved hand clap for that. You know, just to
Thank you.
give you some flowers, because I take that to heart, just because I come from the same background, and representation really matters. And those people who did stand out in my life were those teachers or staff, faculty members that involved themselves with their profession, but also took time to connect on a deeper level and let me know that there's more than to my my like 5-10 minute walk to school, because I would see like some of the craziest shit in my life on my way to school, or you know, being around where I was around. So that is you know, groovers out there, if you're out there and you know you're thinking about education, I think a lot of people need to realize that education matters, as well as like teaching in that sense, you know, relaying it to the next generation, showing people that legacy does matter, and you know what you do with your actions is very important. So,
and just that too is like taking the small time to just come back to your community. You know, it's like people want to see us make it out. And you come back, it's like real time seeing it. How you were saying, if we're just every day going back and forth seeing crazy shit, we forget about all the other shit that would be possible of doing. You know what I mean? It's just that easy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you know Perry taught at your old high school?
Yeah, I seen you host that class at Rainier Beach with Lex. I was all for it, man. I was sharing it, and that's why I bring it up. Just having that opportunity. I mean, like, for instance, the history behind like Rainier Beach in this in this situation. Our Performing Arts Center, it was one of the most like robust art centers. It was the Paul Robeson Art Center, and we call it PAC. But people don't know that Rainier Beach was well known for their arts earlier in the like 80s, 90s, you know, so on and so forth, 70s. You know, they think it's just like an athletic program, but seeing people like you and Lex take their time out of their days to go down to those students, because they'll get overshadowed. The art community within at least the South End, and from my experience going to Rainier Beach, there's not as much care as there should be, as I want it to be. I was around it. You have to be very proactive.
There has to be so much more outside.
Yeah. You know, because you know, shout out to Y King Garrett from the Central District. He came down and started the first hip hop club at Rainier Beach, and he's from the generation of Africa Town. You know, when the CD was, you know, the like most black neighborhood on the West Coast at the time. So for him to take that leap of faith and lend it to a neighborhood on the opposite side of town and show these kids, me in real time, that like, hey, you know, you can do music, you can do photography, you can do videography. You know, I got these cameras that nobody uses, but if you want to like try it out, see what's up with it, I was in choir class. I was in the art classes. I was in ceramics, things like that. But I had to go out my way to be like, hey, teacher, I want to do this. Exactly. Like, where's the, like, oh, we have a bunch of kids right here. What do you want to do? Like, oh, I want to skateboard. I want to do, I want to draw. I want to write.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, let's do that. They didn't have that too much when I was growing up. So, no, another motherfucking hand clap. Hold on. Thank you, brother. Just because that just means so much to me.
Yeah.
That just means, like, it speaks volumes. These kids will never forget whoever was an artist at the time in that room who was all like, hey, I don't know if I believe in myself right now, but I really want to try this out. Seeing y'all come through and hit those hallways and see what's up, I know that kid is like, oh my God, like,
it's tight because they'll like ask me like some real ass questions, like, so how you get paid? You pay your rent doing this stuff?
Yeah.
Like they really know like this is actually like how you do things.
Yeah,
like put me on game to that. So that's what's the cool part of seeing that shit. Like, oh yeah, man. Like some days it's not cool. Like just being really honest with them about shit too. Like you can make it work. You just got to be really like aware of your situation and just be able to just work hard and just knowing how you're saying too. You got to use a lot of outside forces.
Yeah.
You just rely on the school system, like so they're just shoving all the bad kids into art. Really,
yeah.
You don't know what to do with them. So you got ADHD or something, just go over there.
Just go over there, do art.
You're artsy.
And then they don't really pay attention to what's going on, so they're just over just
and then
bad and shit.
Exactly.
And then they'll put you in that program that's underfunded.
Yep.
They don't really. They're like, oh, it's a better alternative, but no, we don't. Actually, we put zero funds in the art program, so you're cooked no matter what.
Just the bad kids with no money around.
Exactly.
What do you think they're going to think about? They think about making money somewhere else.
But I just think that creates kids or people like us and people like the Umis of the world, the Harry Cleans of the world, all these kids that grow up to become adults, young adults that are forward thinking that they have to make something out of thin air, creation. They actually have to figure it out, which is it's a double-edged sword. Thank you, but fuck you. Yeah.
Back up,
I had to learn the hard way.
Shit, but damn, I had to learn.
This was from the mud, like Corey, like the podcast. Corey, this is like out of thin air too. Like Corey sold his car to start to get the equipment to be like, oh, yep, I got the equipment now. What do we do now? Start recording.
Sometimes got to do it.
Start recording, but yeah,
I got to force myself now.
I mean. I was like the car was like you're either gonna I decided that year I was either gonna figure out how to get a job, like actually like what job is gonna like let me climb the ladder, or get rid of this fucking car and like get in the game. And thankfully for him, he was already doing shit. He was making music, and my homie Koi was already doing videos. So I had like a perspective of people who were like already jumping off the porch. So I was like, I have an asset that I don't like. I can get on the light rail. I can take the bus. So I was like, fuck it. Either you're going to use it to get somewhere or you're just going to have a car. I wanted to ask about your live shows because I've personally never been to one, but I know that.
Best show on earth.
No, I know because you paint live and rap. Yep. So I want to know where did obviously you do both. So where did like the push to combine the two loves come from?
I don't remember the actual day it happened. Yeah. But like before I started doing solo music, I was in a group called Sleep Steady. We made like a mosh pit kind of music. So I was already known for having just wild live shows.
Yeah.
So when I started doing solo shows, I wanted to kind of up it up. So like I had my homegirl who did like lights and spin fire. She'd come do some stuff. And I was just thinking of everything. And at that time I was getting known for doing live painting. Yeah. So I was just like, fuck, like it'd be cool if like a part of this show I live paint. I think one of my homies was like, why not do it the whole time? Like, you do and we're just kicking it. Yeah. He's like, shit, let me just try it out. And then it just went off. Like, because with live painting, I don't really think about it. I just
do paint,
it,
yeah.
So it just worked out. And I was like, oh, cool, dope. Let's keep doing it.
That's amazing. Do you sell the art at the end of the show?
Yeah, like, it wasn't the idea at first, but maybe the last 4 or or 5 shows. Someone just ended up buying it.
Yeah.
$300-$400 just right off stage.
That's fire.
It's cool. Like, it wasn't ever the idea. It was just, I'm going to just paint it.
I'm gonna paint it.
And just keep it there. Maybe bring it back for the next show. Because, like, I've done a tour with Romero Francois.
Yeah.
Where I had the same painting throughout the tour. And we just add
wow.
on to it. So that was, like, the first idea. But then somebody was like, "I'll buy it right now." I was like,
Hey,
fuck the idea.
yeah, exactly.
Easy judge.
I'm
Right
about to
there.
go buy a canvas and we'll keep it going tomorrow.
I busted down this painting like for like 3-4 hours. You guys, thank you. Like,
And you bought the ticket, so it's really love.
And that's he was like, man, I performed for an hour, so I'm only painting for like 20 minutes. So it's good. So but it's
amazing.
experience and everything, you know. So that's why I realized it's a cool little bust down, bro.
Yeah,
it works.
That is really cool because I was I forget where the last time you performed here, but I was trying to make it to that show because I was like, I've never.
it's at a museum, right? Or
I just did it was like a small performance at the EXO Seattle art show. It was like the 7th floor building that had a bunch of art and shit.
Yeah.
It was really, really tight. But I performed there, but I'm trying to remember, it was like my last actual like hour-long show.
It was like a blue room. I forget where it is. It felt like it was in a hall or something. Something.
Everywhere.
I do too much, you know. That's fire. But for me, it was just like as someone who loves art and that push to be creative, I thought it was just such a great concept of just like art displayed in its purest form. I'm gonna show you what I do live as a musician, but I'm also like filthy with these watercolors. So you'll get to experience both in real time, which I personally love because I feel like that is the ultimate way to control the crowd and still be free, like you know, and still let the artist art fly and just that introspectiveness of it. Just because it's like I'm about to paint this and it's not a pre-planned thing, and especially because you don't draw out first, so it's definitely just this free flowing just art form, which I think is a really really dope just as art as itself.
Yeah. That's what works, man. They said it's probably the freest place I feel is on stage doing that. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
So it's dope that it's like everyone's like involved with it. You know, it's a really cool feeling.
Yeah, I definitely have to make a show because it's another reason I've been like just following you as of late and just things of that, just because I'm like that as a concept in and of itself is just, it blew my fucking mind because I'm just I know that shit is hella energy to just like paint and then like, all right, these are the next 2 songs or the next bars, and like to stay in that mode of like transitioning it's fucking dope to me.
Thank you.
Corey's in his fucking bag right now.
I wrote
honestly, I don't know if you guys know this about Corey, but he is an art buff. Like,
I was excited to do this interview for sure.
Oh, so that makes me happy. Just because I like, I don't know. I always want to make it like as much rappers that we do. I always love like. I love the artists. I'm very
No.
I
don't want to cut you off though either, brother. But like the people think we're like a rap show.
Yeah,
like people would think we're strictly hip hop or like, you know, artists, industry, things like that. But we
do. But
we do everyone.
Personally, if you're asking Corey, I would love to talk to niggas who paint and do clothes, just because I'm like, that to me is like, being a rapper is a genius level, but if you can like, I've tried to draw before, that shit is hard as fuck. I can rhyme.
Yeah.
I can't rhyme well, but I can rhyme. So I feel like I could figure out.
Talk, can kind of rhyme and rap a little bit.
Exactly.
You might not be good.
Like I might not get no fans, but like they'd be like, "Oh, that nigga rap," but he can't do art at all. So so that to me has always been like genius level shit.
No, you could do art. My mom got one of his first paintings up at the crib. You know,
$5. Yeah. I'm gonna make it and she
flip it.
Nah. She, you know, it's crazy. Mom wouldn't even do that.
No, I know, but I'm gonna come there one day. I'm like, Mom, just like
that's really. It went from 5 to 5 million.
Exactly.
I could just do another one like now.
Groovers.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. Don't mean to go too crazy, but you guys, I gotta check some shit real quick. So, hey, and we're back. Welcome back, Groovers. It's like we never left. Before we move on from the art conversation we were having, I did want to ask you. Let me know if you do want to answer this. But you have a relationship with Halo, the cannabis company. I work close with them because I'm a bud tender. But how did that relationship come about? You started painting the like Volume 3 PAX pods and stuff like that.
Did the packaging for them. How that really started was just really being a weed smoker. I'd be at just a bunch of the events, always smoke weed and shit. And it was like a goal of mine to just always work with weed brands. Like I've always tried to say that I don't to this day still understand like more weed places don't like sponsor a lot of the artists and rappers and stuff. Even back when they had like the whole you couldn't do billboards and all that. I mean like it would be great ways for marketing for them. Like they take their Instagrams, get taken down, all that type of shit. So that was my thing, like trying to finesse into that. And I started doing live painting events, and I think they were just at one, or they've heard about it, and they were like, hey, we're trying to do this thing with our events, we live paint. So I started live painting at all their events. That's kind of like their house painter for most of it. We kept doing that, and then as I was getting a little bit more popping with my name and stuff, they were like, hey, we have this package thing we're doing. We would love to have you be involved. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. So, like, anything they do, I'm down with it. I fuck with them hella.
No, that's awesome because it wasn't the first time I got familiar with your work, but getting into the industry and you said it yourself. You hit that on the noggin right there. That selling point it's spot on. Chef's kiss because like that's the first thing people see is the packaging. Yep. That's like almost half a sale right there. Yeah. Like they see packaging. I mean, like people are simple, but like. You know, they see it and they're like, ooh, I like that packaging. It might not have a good product in there, but like, packaging, that's an artifact. That's like a piece of a memory you have. Like, oh, I walked into my first dispensary and I seen this really cool packaging and I grabbed it. But I've sold more Volume 3 PAX pods than I've ever sold just because I'm like, hey, do you know the story behind this PAX pod? Like, do you see this art? This is a local artist. And when they hear local artist, they're like, oh my God, like, wow. And then I like turn it around. I'm like, yeah, you could tap in with the Spotify playlist, and even this local artist is on the playlist too. The Spotify that Halo runs, which I think is just, oh my gosh, yeah, that is dope. That's taking your storytelling beyond and beyond marketing, and you're like really like you're paying an homage, you know. And it's just really cool because like yesterday we got a bunch of Volume 3s and Volume 4s, and I was like, man, I'm about to interview this this dude. Like I'm just staring at the package, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm about to
jump these off.
Yeah, I'm like, hey.
Go interview tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
About to get these off, and I gotta interview tomorrow.
Yeah, I've always was wondering how they were moving because once we did that, I moved to Vegas. Like I had no idea. If people were buying them and all that stuff. So it's dope hearing stories like that. That makes me happy.
Oh, that's so fire.
Yeah, any and every Volume 3 out there, they got it. You know.
I also wanted to ask about that process of just like seeing your work on packaging and just as an artist being like, this will be like, there's a part of Washington and like America that has no connection to me as an artist, but will consume my product in that way. I want to know how that rush made you feel.
That's cool because I've already been past the rush with that because like the biggest rush for me, knowing that people would not really know who I was, but like knowing was I used to write for video games.
Oh, wow.
So I had 2 songs on UFC 2, and then we have 4 songs on Cyberpunk.
Yep. Ooh, I'm so happy you.
Before you even, the round of applause got to get off because that's not no light shit.
I'm glad you got into the video game conversation before I was like, hey, let's go. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
So that was the first time being like, man, the rush is like, man, I feel like I made it. So many people hear my voice. They probably rap those songs. So like, we'll never know that it's me. Especially like the other songs are under Sleep Steady. Yeah. Like when we did the Cyberpunk thing, I made sure I was like, nah, it has to say my name now. I passed the rush of that. Now I need my credit now.
I need to bring these places.
But that's just the favorite part of like, since I already do the rapping and painting thing, it's nice to be like the backseat sometimes. It's like I'm sometimes really reclusive. As you guys see, I'm like chill for the most part. I'm like hype unless it's time for it, you mean? But being able to have the backseat, be able to still create and like see it from a different aspect. Yeah. Like, I never thought about packaging like that too much. Yeah. So how like one homie, he's like obsessed with opening shit. Like he was like he loves packaging. Yeah. Like, it started changing my mindset of like how artistic it actually is and like the whole experience and stuff like that. Opening it up, like keeping it like. Yeah. So I really got into that bag. Was like dope. I like that part of it. Well, I don't have to really be the focus of the attention. You know? Yeah. It's just really focus on the actual product.
Oh yeah. So, that's so fire to me because I love. As you see, like all the stuff behind us, but I'm obsessive with like what things come in. Like even if like I bought the Victor Nego physical product because it came with a T-shirt, but I love that just how they encased the box and just like had the CD in the bottom and the T-shirt on top. Just that form of just like how am I going to present it? Like if when someone opens it, I want to give them that kind of like glowing feeling. So I've always been obsessed with like if you're that kind of brand who is like knowledgeable of how they like their things packaged, I always take note of those just because I'm like whoever is the creative director or whoever is the artist there is very like not the whole. You have to have the whole experience.
Yeah, don't just focus on the product, make them love everything, the unboxing, all that. Yeah. Stuff. You know, so yeah, but it's just always being able to just kind of be the backseat, learning that stuff. So the video game stuff taught me a lot of that. Yeah, I learned a lot about the music industry, the way I wanted to move around. Like, so
that's so dope. Big. That's so dope.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a double hand clap just because. Would you? I was able to experience that with my brother and play Cyberpunk with him, and then when your song came on. I was like, dude, did you know that that's a person from Washington? Blew his mind.
That's tight.
I had just a Cyberpunk specific question. Did it let you down that the game was bad?
Yeah, bro. Because like I'm not a super gamer like that anyway. Like even how I got into making music was for video games. It's kind of just on some just being in the right studio kind of thing. So I wasn't even really aware of the game like that until they told us we were going to be on it. And one of my homies, he's like a huge gamer. Yeah. And I was just like talking like, I think I'm on this game. He was like, nigga, like, I've been waiting for this. And he starts hyping up. He's showing me shit. Like, we're finding out the kids are leaking the song too. Yeah. So like, I'm looking at Reddit, our songs being like one of the more talked about songs and shit. Like, I'm like, oh shit, this might go off. Yeah. And then when it dropped, I was like, damn. Damn, I got my name and everything on it. It's like, but it was still just great.
Yeah, like, it's still a moment though.
Yeah, man. And just knowing that like, that video game like based in the future and like music's supposed to be in the future and all that shit was like dope. And most of those songs were made like 6 years ago.
Wow.
So they made a while ago. So I even forgot about them at one point.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we have this in your catalog. Give you this money for it. It's like, cool.
Yeah. And it's so cool that you are projected to make music like 100 years from now. So that's the beautiful
part. That was my favorite part of it. It was like, it's in the future. It's like, and that was when I was a kid. You mean like, I would never even thought that would happen. Like these songs are for something else. You know what I mean? So
timeless music.
It's dope. Yeah, that's exactly how I took it, bro. Like, niggas can't tell me shit.
No, for sure you can't. I don't know too many people.
Yeah, I don't know like,
with their catalog on video games.
So what's your relationship with making product? I know you make clothes. Like, so what's that form of love and like for you?
That was one of the first loves I have was like trying to make clothes. Like my mom would let me have like a sewing machine at one point. I was trying to do shit. It was terrible. It was terrible when I was younger. But like I've always just kind of been that way, just always expressing myself. Yeah. Like I'm not a huge name brand person. I'm just whatever looks cool on you, looks cool on you type thing. Like that's even just how I really started getting the clothes. Because like, man, I just want shit that I haven't seen here or this illustration, and I started doing myself. I've always just kind of done everything just hands on. So it's like, fuck it, let's try this too. You know, so it's just always working out, man. And then, like I said, with ETC, most stuff is like I take pride in that too. It's like most of the stuff I wear is stuff I made or my homies made, or someone I really fuck with. Like I don't. Knowing them on a personal level and wearing them is so much cooler to me, you know, than just the status kind of thing. Like, luckily they have their own status and shit, you know what I mean? But
definitely helps in the streets. But I feel the same way. Like, whenever I always want to tweet, but I always like, I always borderline on the tweet being obnoxious because I'm like, I love that I have access to my favorite brands. Like all the people that I know that make clothes, I can either text them personally or DM them in a way to be like, it makes already the product that I love so much more cooler and obtainable just because I'm like, oh, I know you're not an asshole. And I know that you get like the jokes and those things. So like it makes wearing and representing your brand so much easier.
Exactly.
That's hella dope.
They say you need to take more pride in them too.
Yeah.
People like, what are you wearing? Like, oh, that's the homie.
That's the homie.
It's not just someone I just smile like, no, I know that person.
Exactly.
That genuine good person, like all that shit. So.
Yeah. It always makes me feel good. Like whenever, especially in the ETC jacket, I feel like that's the most love you'll receive anywhere.
Yeah. Anywhere I've been, bro. I went to them. It's like, yeah, where'd you get that?
Where'd you get that?
I love that.
They be
Random people.
I need to live y'all's life.
no, like, hey,
I don't own a jacket yet, but
make 1 3X for T.
Yeah,
just next time,
I'll pay double the price.
Like,
I've been said in other cities, people. That's a nice jacket.
yeah, like
I like that.
What's the website? I'd be like, and then I gotta break it down and be like, nah, it might not be on the website, but still fuck with my people. Like, nah, this is sold out. It might be gone, but like, still tap in with my. Yeah. I mean, if you ever in Washington, you know, you better go to the store. It definitely might still be there, but like.
And I love that too, man.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that everything is just really, really limited. Like, I've definitely taken that from them.
Yeah.
So.
I wanted to ask about your motifs in your art, like the sharks, and you use a lot of flowers. And I'll ask this as a double part question, but what is also the importance of using Black women in your art?
Well, the shark is a self-portrait idea. The idea with that was mostly when they meet me, I'm just really, really chill, more of like a joyous kind of person. So that's where the sunflower idea. But like when I'm on stage, you get to know me, I'm all over the place. I'm kind of madness. You know? And I'm really, really fucking petty. So that just worked them. The grenade butterflies, that's kind of like a symbol of like loving the wrong women, chasing the wrong women and shit. Like the butterflies in your stomach feeling.
Yeah.
Them shit's going to explode, bro. Like, just leave that one alone. And then just the points of Black women, bro, is like, that's all I've ever really known. Was raised by that. You know what I mean? I love Black women all around. Even on just an artistic standpoint, it's like women are like the most painted thing, you know?
Yeah.
But it's mostly just white women.
Yeah.
Like, and so for like the world we live in, that's not our beauty standard. So like I want to make art that like we still compete with the contemporary painters, but it is Black shit. And that's like with the watercolor, all that is, I really take pride in like, no, white dude, whatever, I paint just as good as you.
Yeah.
It just is on some nigga shit. You know like, it's still cool over here, but like you can't knock it. You can't
exactly.
Some techno shit is not tight. So
exactly.
that's why I really want to do the most with that shit.
That's fucking beautiful. And I know you will. I'm gonna let it ring. Help me gather my words better. For me, I feel like you live in that lane so beautifully because of just like, I don't know, your art really expresses that, and I thank you for sharing like the essence of those pieces and just that creation. Just because I do see that in the art and in the expression, so that's fucking amazing. How I'm always curious, how hard are murals as an artist?
For me, like it might be the easiest because it's larger. But
Oh, really?
On a physical standpoint, it's
More strenuous.
Yeah, it's it can take a lot out of you.
Yeah,
Definitely doing that. But yeah, just sometimes it's a lot easier, especially if you're like an artist who has like really drawn in notepads and all the like really small details. Easier to skip steps when they're larger.
really,
Really, really easy to skip steps. So that's why I do like doing murals. It's way easier process. And just everything big looks cool, man.
Yeah.
Everything looks big. You do a big ass fucking apple and that shit look cool.
Yeah.
Like that's why I love doing murals. I really don't have any issues doing murals. I love
that's
that shit.
fine.
Yeah.
Where's I don't know exactly. It was in a school that you recently did one.
We did the Rainier Beach ones. Like it was a mural program.
Yeah.
Where I'd come in during their art period.
Okay.
And we would like kind of brainstorm, do sketches, all that. And they were really prepared. They had like some of our art already up on the wall, like what they liked about it, what they didn't really like. And like we just came up with ideas then.
Yeah.
And then I would come up with the design, and then they would paint it.
Oh,
I
wow.
just kind of watch them do that. So that was the last one I've done there. And then we're about to do one, I think, downtown with VMC. And that's the collective that we did the Black Lives Matter mural.
Wow. I'm so surprised. I was like, we've done the whole interview without touching on, I guess, one of the, more nationally known pieces that you've done.
Yeah, that is my equivalent to the video game stuff. For the art thing was watching that take off was crazy because we were the second city to do it.
Yeah.
But we were the first city that every artist had their own letter. And we tried to make it be all Black and indigenous artists.
Yeah.
So I think maybe 14 or 15 out of the 16 artists are.
Yep.
And then we just watched all the other cities do it after. We watched like Adobe pick it up. We
Yeah.
watched Microsoft use it. Like I think they're about to put it in a history book soon. Like
Wow.
It was big.
Yeah. What was that? Because we were around the hill a lot around that time. But what was it like having the city like be like, paint this, like put this here. We want to make a kind of stand.
That's not how it happened.
Oh.
It happened during Chop.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when Chop first happened, me and a lot of them, and just even friends, we were always out there. And Takia T and Joey Nix had this idea of doing it because they seen one city do it. They were like, we should try to do the same thing. So they hit all of us up on Instagram. They were like, hey, these are the names of people that have said that would probably do this.
Yeah.
We're going to do it tomorrow. Pick a letter. We're just going to do it because there's no policing anything. We're just going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And just hope it goes well. So we just pulled up, big van, bunch of paint, just knocked it out because there's 3,000 people, there's hella people just there and shit. So we just did it. It took off from there. And then the city hit us up after that. We're like, can you guys repaint it? And that's when they paid us to do it.
Yeah.
And then we had a contract and all that. But yeah, first time was just fuck it. We're just going to do it.
We're going to just do it.
It's like, this is our contribution to everything that's going on. You mean, like, as artists, let's do some real shit.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, I didn't think anything of it. You mean, it was just me checking, like, oh, yeah, I'll pull up. I'll just paint the L.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it was like, oh, shit, there's news here now. Like, all this stuff. Like, it got big.
Yeah. It was huge. It was one of those, I don't know, it was one of those moments in Washington I was like, damn, they not only did they pick all the right people were pulled for it, it was so like cohesive as far as like for me it made sense because it was just like we are a city who displays art a lot, and it wasn't like everyone's got to do this, like let's all choose a style and let's all do this style.
That was my favorite part is everyone expressed yourself whatever way within that letter.
Yeah.
Came out hella cool. And it was like all of us didn't really kick it a lot like that before then, and then just started a whole crew now. Like now we have a whole collective together. We have meetings and shit.
Yeah.
We do a lot of stuff together now.
That's so fire.
Bridge to like Chop definitely bridged a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That Black Winds, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of me.
No, I'm not aware.
While we were doing that stuff, I had a group of me and my friends start a YouTube channel that does like Black education.
Wow.
But instead of doing trauma, we do triumphs. So like we do like a Black Wall Street. So we went to Tulsa, like interviewed people and stuff, and we wanted to focus more on like how it became Black Wall Street instead of why it was burned down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like doing just the flips on all of that stuff instead of just focus on the massacres, the killings, like really who were these people, how they got to where they got to. Because that's what it is. Like, why don't we talk about how it became Black Wall Street?
Yeah.
You mean like how did all these millionaires who were Black all end up in one space and do all this? Like, why did white people want it to be burned down?
Yeah.
Instead of just focusing on just the killings of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just another thing I've been doing a lot of too. And like, yeah, Chop has definitely changed a lot of my life. Just the way I even just make art and shit too.
Yeah.
At the time I was I love to tell the story just because at the time that all this was going down in my hometown, I was actually out of state. I was in Kentucky. Crazy that I'm in Kentucky, but I have family out there. But just the national response on that mural on Chop itself made me really it made me realize like some people in different places really think the world is black and white, and that's how they perceive things. Just because one, the way I took it, I'm like, this is an amazing opportunity. Look at these creatives getting together and supporting one another and putting down a profound message. I think it's so stupid that people are offended by such a phrase that is just saying that, you know, people like, you know, do matter. And like that whole argument, like just being in that that space at the time, I was in an unfriendly zone, you know, like there are people talking down on this mural or where I was at. They're asking me like, why is Seattle going haywire? What's wrong with them? Why aren't they obeying the police? Like,
like
you
we're
know,
just delinquents and just doing the most and shit. We definitely had interviews. We asked people that. Like, I was never even called an activist artist before until then. I was like, I've never seen myself like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, like they're painting this stuff, asking us these wild questions. Like, I just came just to paint and just show, like I said, more joy. I'm tired of seeing all the killing and negative shit. Like, I just wanted to bring some joy, man. And like seeing that it's crazy seeing that. Then I would like go home, watch the news, and some news places it's like everything's dying, there's vandalism, this and that, and then some places like, oh, look at this beautiful thing they're making. Yeah. So it was just weird seeing just how much like it really fucked people up.
That parallel is so crazy because MSNBC News, CNN News, they're painting one picture about the community. They're saying they're one thin line between becoming terrorists. Yeah, that's how they're portraying
that was crazy.
Our people.
Hell yeah.
And then I would see his story, my friends' stories of people gathering together and you know, live performance going on, live art going on. Them feeding the neighborhood. Like they didn't talk about them feeding the neighborhood, bringing out meals.
Where you were probably, that was probably even worse. Crazy.
The things that I heard. Yeah. You didn't know how infuriated I was. I almost got into a couple fights with my relatives' people. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about Kentucky. I'm out there, and then you guys are speaking down on the Pacific Northwest.
I will fight right now.
I will fight right now. I don't care, bro. And I was just like, are you looking deeper than what's going on? Like, this is national outrage. Like, do you not understand the severity of what happened between the George Floyd situation and then past things that happened in the, this was going to implode.
Like, all of that, and you choose to be like mad at the art. Yeah, you know, like that's the crazy part. Because even seeing other cities like they're throwing white paint over them and doing all that other shit. Like, thankfully, it didn't really happen here like that. But like, just seeing how other cities like reacted to just the Black Lives Matter painting was like, wow, like it's just a mural, man.
It's just a mural. And it's a mural on the ground. Like you won't. Like,
it's crazy.
Imagine the actual lives that are affected by this violence that you portray. You would think,
like, that's
holy cow, this is not rocket science. Jeez Louise. But
that's fucking
thank you for sharing that with us, just because that moment in time is going to be cemented in history. Yeah. It's a part of Seattle history now, or Pacific Northwest history, you know? Gosh.
That's great, man.
I do want to shift gears just a little bit.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, do you look at your art in periods, like, or like, do you timestamp yourself?
I used to not to, but I want to get better at that. Just so I can use it for like more inspiration stuff. Because I even feel like I do it more with music. Because I can go back to some music stuff and be like, oh man, like I didn't really hit the mark here, but like I see the idea of what I was doing. Like now I'm a little bit technically better. I can like revisit some of these ideas or be even inspired with some of the older stuff. You know? And even just like I've seen TikToks where people be like, you know, from 21 to 40, this is what my paintings look like. And I would love to just see all that shit. So definitely get better at time stepping shit.
Oh hell yeah! Because I always like, I guess I always look at this and like I wonder what, because we're only 2 years into this, so I'm like, what are we be like at 5? Like, and at 10, will we like? I know I'm gonna hate a lot of my takes in the beginning of this, but like I'm hoping like at year 10 we can look back and just do reviews of like, oh, that was our opinion on these things.
Man, I was reckless. Yeah, I could sold out a little bit.
Hey, I would say before we started getting regular interviews,
the interviews
are nuts.
That era of Groovy tapes is crazy.
It's
just us getting drunk and going in front of cameras and recording whatever we say at the time.
It's like we have these loose topics. Let's see how many we get through and like where we take them.
If you want a great example of that, just look up the Babushka Boys episode.
I want to look that up.
That one I think is the nucleus. That one's just nuclear for real. That one,
I would say that one and our first one. Our first one, you could tell like if like there was no media training, there was no like, hey, you probably this is like a friend conversation. This is like interview. Because like there's one point where we go into like it's a fuck Boston. We were just like we were just shitting on Boston for like 10 minutes, like 10 or 15 minutes, and like in hindsight, I'm like, maybe we might go and do some shit in Boston. Like, if this shit takes off, like,
I had gripe with Jason Tatum. You know why? It's because I seen a picture of him having his mom carry his luggage when he just got when he was the second pick.
Look at that! Ain't no man.
I mean, it was we went on a rant. It was bad. Where it's
that was like half our episode.
Yeah, that really was like fuck Boston was having like this is
at the end of every point. I'm just like. Fuck Boston.
Yeah.
And then I can't say Massachusetts. I still can't say it. Massachusetts. Yeah, see? I can't say it still to this day.
I still can't say it. I don't know. Periods are definitely important.
Yeah, because of that.
Do you I wanted to add, I know this happened a few years ago, but what was it like rapping on Cube 93?
Oh man, it was cool. It was hella cool. What was funny about that, though, is I had an eye injury the day before from painting. So I fucking was using oil paint, fucking around, and got some of my eye.
Damn.
So I had, like, glasses on and everything, so I could, like, barely see, and I was not in the mood for doing that shit at that time. I was so mad, like, fuck, I wish I could do this another day. Like, I am not in it. But it was so cool, though. It was hella cool. Shout out to Casey. Like, she's always had my back. She's actually my first Seattle show.
Oh, wow.
First time ever being played on anything Seattle.
That's amazing.
Does it again.
Like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Casey's
now
the
Jar's
GOAT.
like the big homie. That's big bro now. So just love that. That's just, bro. That's family right there.
Yeah. Was it, have you ever, like, have you always looked at radio as, like, one of those moments? Or at the, I guess not at the time, because, like, obviously everything's a blessing. But, like, was it not as, like, fulfilling as it could have been like maybe 5 or 6 years prior?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like my journey through music has definitely changed my perspective of where I want to be. Mm-hmm. If it was like when I was 18 or 19, I would have been through the roof type of shit, you know. But at one point, I just stopped really caring about radio as much. Honestly, like I've always been like a lo-fi kind of internet nerd at first. When I started like taking music seriously, I just strictly did mostly on the internet. You know, I was just doing it there. I wasn't really going out to shows like that. So I like into college and started kicking with people more. So like that was already just a thing. I just wanted to kind of be an underground rapper, you know, and then just kind of just took its own wave and shit. So I was like, oh, if we're here, we're here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was only just here to just kind of have a little bit of fans there and half. Like, we're gonna do games, we're gonna do radio. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Sounds fun. So.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah.
How you feeling, brother?
I'm good. I have legitimately one more question.
Yeah, man. That's why I asked you how you feeling. Go ahead. Say that shit.
As an artist, what brings you joy to do art?
Ooh, man. Just really creating a living, bro. Like, really just getting to make shit. That is just, I love it. Like, I definitely don't take this shit for granted. That's why I feel like I just work as hard as I do. Is like being able to just make parallels between just random things, bro. Like, that's how I just see it as art is, you know, is you just finding why this cup and this water works together type shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, being able to find tools. Like, I feel like that's what creativity intelligence is. Like, you know, I'm trying to give like a really good example right now. I mean, just fucking a car. You mean it started from a horse type shit. Horsepower, all that. Like, just from just creativity and thinking, I just love that shit, bro. Just seeing where I can make out of thin air.
Yeah.
I just fucking love that shit. Try to do as much of it on the fly. I don't try to do a lot of premeditated shit.
Yeah.
Like, really doing that. And it's just the joy other people get, bro. Like, the energy, especially like live shows.
Yeah.
That shit is tight as fuck. Like, being able just to feed off people, like, you can't ever really explain it. You know, when it's really just a vibe, it's just a vibe. Like, yeah, man.
Oh hell yeah.
I hope that answered the question.
No, that answered it beautifully to me. I do want this will come out not this Friday, but next Friday. But I do want to ask, do you have any upcoming shows or anything? Can we plug something out? I know it's the end, but
about to put out this project with Belugs. It's called
Big Splash.
Chariot. Yeah, we've been sitting on it for about a year. I just been painting, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's ready. It's got a lot of Tacoma locals on it that it's my favorite shit. I've been playing it. Me and my little shorties and shit, we'll listen to it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be out soon. And then I'm planning a big art show. I was trying to do it last month, but they actually gifted me like this kind of mansion thing.
Oh, wow.
For that. I have my art there for like 2 months. So that's going to happen next year, but I'm about to be promoting that shit for months.
Yeah.
That should be packed out. I want the art world to be like, oh, yeah, niggas is here.
Will it be in Washington or Vegas?
It'll be Lakewood Gardens.
Oh, fire.
Lakewood, Washington. It's beautiful. So it'll be
Fire.
trees, beautiful plants, pool, all that.
Oh, it'll fit
so
the
fly
vibe so well.
shit.
Yeah.
Super fly shit.
Oh, hell yeah. We're pulling up.
Man. So yeah, just the album and that. That's really what I got focused on.
Okay.
So, yeah, man.
Hell yeah. When the eyes close, I know there's like...
I don't gotta say too much, you guys. I actually don't even have to, do my regular end of the day question either, because this was a beautiful interview. KWJT, you've been grooving with the South. We got Perry, we got Corey, and Tavares.